Oh, why, hello there. I'm only joking. So about a year and a half ago, I decided to start a new hobby. I decided to see how many PS2 games I can collect. The last year and a half, I collected quite a few, but my friend suggested I should start a YouTube channel. And I was a bit hesitant, but I thought I'd give it a crack. Anyway, this is my introduction video. I'm very new to this, so I'm going to be a bit nervous here. So this first video will show you my collection of games, consoles, and accessories. And the follow-up video will show you how many PS2 games I actually have. But anyway, enough of the talk. Welcome to the new channel. Welcome to PS2MANYGAMES.
PS2MANYGAMES.
So as you can imagine, keeping all my games in one place is paramount, and here it is. This is actually my gaming room. This is about 12 by 12 foot square room, perfect square. It's not big, but it's big enough for what I need. So as you can see on the against the wall here is the majority of my PS2 games. This is S to Z, S to Z. There's a gap there because the top three rows are all S games, and the bottom three are T to Z. There's more S games for the PS2 than any other letter titles, so I leave gaps just in case I find what I need. But as you can see there, most of the S games I've got, they're pretty good ones. Shadow Hearts series, most of the Silent Hills, as you can see. Every Star Wars game going. Sorry about this, this is my folder and that's USB. I'm just doing a bit of tidy at the moment. My loose Pokemon games, including Pokemon Silver actually, Pokemon Silver. That's about 45 quid these days. I think a box version is like 200. Something insulting. I know Sapphire is like 120 box, but it's like £30 maybe as a cartridge. I keep all my games. Anyway, if we turn to the right against the back wall here, you see I've got two floating shelves. This is where I keep my random games. So you see on the top shelf, Xbox One. I don't really play much of this anymore. It's just a console I have. A couple of Mega Drive games, or three of them to be pedantic. Below here, my Super Nintendo games. So that's, you gotta understand, I've had a Super Nintendo since I was 3 years old, so I kept everything. So, but when I got older, to this day, my favourite game, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, still to this day, my favourite SNES game, and quite possibly my favourite game in general. Let's see, Mario missing. So Mario Time Machine, no word of lie, when I was 6 I got to buy this game. I did not have a clue this was a learning game. One of the worst games of all time, but I kept it just as a memory of read the entire box. So Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3, Super Mario World, because everyone had that. Ryan Giggs Football. That hasn't aged very well considering he's not a very nice person these days. Bought that one as a boy. Star Fox, obviously, well, Star Wing in Europe, but Star Fox, it's Star Fox. And obviously Super Mario All-Stars, you've got to have the Super Mario All-Stars. And if you would just give me a second, obviously behind it is my Xbox 360 games. I had quite a few of these, just leaned over. And all kept in decent condition. Dude, looking forever, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I bought it. I waited about all those years and it was crap, but I bought it.
I kick ass for the Lord.
Yeah, it was terrible, just utterly terrible. Battle Z, another awful game pretty much. I didn't like that at all. As you can imagine, I'm a Dynasty Warriors and Warriors Orochi fan and Samurai Warriors, so I've got nearly every game in that going. Original Red Dead Redemption, awesome game to this day still. Anyway, we'll move from that and we'll now come to actual main event side. So I'll do a sideways here, so I don't know how I can do this, but we'll try to. So I've built this entire frame. As you can tell, gaps in between, games underneath. I built the entire frame, so we'll go from top bottom to bottom. So top shelf. Before I started collecting PS2 games, I actually for many years, from when I was a young boy, actually collected Pokemon cards, and I filed them and kept them. And as you can see, I've pretty much collected all the way up to about 4 years ago. Why did I stop? Simple, money. It was getting insultingly expensive to do so, and Nintendo were just getting greedy, so I just stopped doing it. But the original, I've got a complete base, complete jungle, complete fossil, complete Team Rocket. Not Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge though, they're close to complete, but I would say that folder there is worth at least 4 figures easily. A few Neo, but not much. I believe I got a few of the later generations completed. Some of the, I think Forbidden Light I've definitely completed for the, I think it was it Sword and Shield for Forbidden Light? Yeah, so it's been a while since I looked at them, to be honest. Right, so let's go. As you can see, Dreamcast and Mega Drive. They are not plugged in yet. I haven't decided where I'm going to keep on the left or put on the right there. I'm still thinking. Yeah, sorry for the fingers. This is the first time I've done a video in a long time, so. Bits of wood. Why are there bits of wood in the room? Simple. Sometimes you need bits of wood. Let's say you put a floating shelf up and the games don't want to stand. Bits of wood. And that is done fantastically well. They've never ever fallen down. So, bits of wood. Anyway, as you can say, underneath is the main event, obviously my PS2. I've got about 3 or 4 PS2s, but I love Black Chunky. So I don't lose where the games go. I always keep the game I'm playing on top at the moment. As you can see, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force Evolution. Quite a good game. Holds up well. It's weird because it's got the Japanese music, so it's even better. We're going to change. There you go. Hopefully, I can change that in post or pre-production, but you never know. If not, we'll just do that and that. Right. Underneath, right, it's interesting. Scott Pilgrim books, massive Scott Pilgrim fan. A few manga bought to me by my friend, read them all. Saga is pretty good. Gone to Texas. Yeah, some of them I'm not going to mention because some of these stories are pretty sick. And by that I mean not that good. This is a sealed Detective Pikachu box. I have no idea why I never opened it. I just never did. What's that, 4 or 5 years ago now? Still probably worth the same as it was then. It's not that expensive, but I'm going to hold on to it and see what happens. If you go a little drive down, it's the Xbox One. Still plugged in, still play it occasionally, not as much as I used to. Underneath is leftovers. As you can imagine, I painted the room myself. I haven't moved that. I have no clue what's in that folder. I'll have to check that later. Well, as you can see in the main event, well, not the main event, the main part of it, I measured it out so I can get a 50-inch inside, and did a quite good job, actually. Cheap television too. I think it only cost about $250. Yeah, cracking stuff. Right, underneath, I think this is O2. Yes, this is O2R. Not many games here, but there are some good games here. Obviously, Resident Evil games on the right side there. There'll be a different video where you will see my whole PS2 collection up close to see what games I have got or what games I haven't got. That will be coming up either before this video or after this video. I just realised you can see me. Hello. I'm not going to be on camera at the start very often because I've got a bit of a issue on the side of my face. I've got surgery coming up soon, so yeah, you'll see me eventually, but you'll see the odd still frame of me. So I'm not a shy person. It's just I want to get the surgery done first before you see me properly. This is just in case I need more storage. As you can imagine, the storage on a laptop can get interesting sometimes. Right side. In the past I bought a lot of eBay lots, and simply put, these are games where they've turned up and there was no games in them, so they screwed me. One lot screwed me big time. Got the money back, but never trust anyone under 50 rating on eBay. Fact. Right. This is a folder. I think this is the. Oh yeah. I also play Magic the Gathering occasionally. That's my Magic the Gathering collection. Still quite well. Right, this is one of my pride and joys. My original Super Nintendo. I've had this since I was 5 years old. So I've had this at least 25 years from now, minimum. Got some leftovers here. Sorry about that. I didn't realize I was there. But that still works perfectly. Every Nintendo console I've ever bought works perfectly fine, and it's held up every year. Nintendo built to last. Underneath is the N64. Once again, works perfectly fine. I've got about 30 games here, actually. Well, we should really go through them, I suppose. By the way, Yoshi Island 2, awesome game. Right, so Star Wars Racer, decent game. Anyone who's a wrestling fan will tell you that WrestleMania 2000 holds up to this day incredibly well. Interesting note, I just happened, when I was younger, to buy the 2 of the last 3 games ever released in the N64. Mario Party on the left, obviously Pokemon Stadium 2 on the right. Both games now worth quite a lot of money. I think that's like 70 quid. That's, I think, also quite expensive. I know a box version of that is like $250. Something really stupid, but that's held up quite well. ECW, not a great game, but I had it. Mario Party 2, probably the best. Well, actually, no, best boards, but the best one is Mario Party 3, just because you can speed it up and you get a Mario Party done in like an hour. Anyone worth their salt who loves Pokemon had an original Pokemon Snap. Incredibly short game, but actually replayable. Still replayable. Duke 64, the much better version was on the PlayStation, but obviously I didn't have a PlayStation original, not a PS1 anyway. Mickey Mouse Speedway USA, a shockingly decent game, and of course, Rareware, so you know it's a good game. Rareware owns the N64. Diddy Kong Racing, yeah, I left this in the sun for like 3 years by mistake, and as you can see, sun destroys cartridges, but still plays strong. I'm going to get a better version in the future. Once again, I got this console got by when I was 7 or 8 years old, so yeah, I didn't treat it very well, but you can roughly tell it's Mario 64. I will get a better version soon, but at the moment, that's the best I've got. Formula 1 World Grand Prix 2, I've got one somewhere also. I think they're like practically worthless now, but they were good. They were a good play in those days. I think it was a 98-99 season. This game is a Lamborghini game. It's I think it was one of the first games released on the console. It isn't great. I played it, I think, like 3 months ago, and it's aged badly. Like, you know, like Star Fox 64 aged well. This is aged really badly. What hasn't aged badly? Banjo-Kazooie. Awesome game to this day. Damn you, Rareware. How nuts and bolts destroyed that franchise so badly. It really did. Honestly, that franchise has never ever recovered. Wave Race. This one's in bad condition. As I said, 7-year-old. Some games I haven't played in years, and Wave Race is one of them. I've got to clean some of these games. Obviously, anyone who hasn't got a Mario 64 for the N64 hasn't got a clue. Awesome game to this day. Literally define 3D graphics for most games. Enough said about that game. WCW Revenge, quite possibly the best WCW game ever released. Still holds up to this day, still plays well. Bit disappointing, Yoshi's Island. It was a short game. Bearing in mind, I literally had this first, so when I saw Yoshi's Island, I thought this would be awesome. Yeah, not. It's decent, but it's such a letdown. Such a letdown. Something funny. So. F1 Pole Position 64. Early game. Has not aged well. Has not aged well whatsoever. The deco wrap included Donkey Kong 64. I think my N64 still has the necessary adaptation. Yes, it still does. So I can still play that game. I think to this day still holds the record for most collectibles in one game you have to collect. Literally, you have to collect everything. Original Mario Party has not aged that particularly well. Still, obviously, got the best line of Wario. Don't I miss? Original Pokemon Stadium. It's hilarious to think that this is worth maybe £40, and this one is worth significantly more. Significantly more. Superstar Soccer 64, a weird game. I'm trying to remember what it was based on, but I think it was based on 1966. I haven't played it in years. It's not a great game. Did not play well, but Konami approved. So yeah. To this day, I still love ice hockey, and this game, shockingly, to this day, plays quite well. And you can do fights. Once again, anyone not worth their salt has to have Ocarina of Time somewhere. To this day, regarded as the best game in the Zelda franchise and the best game of all time for some people. Not for me. It's definitely in the top 10, but yeah, it's aged quite well. Rugrats Treasure Hunt. Everyone makes mistakes. Yeah, let's move on from that. The debut of Waluigi. We need a character who could be Luigi's enemy. What about Waluigi? Brilliant, Steve. Brilliant. And hence the best character in the Mario franchise was born that day. WCW NWO World Tour. I think that came before Revenge. It's still a decent game, but that's probably aged poorly. Last three. Winter Olympics Nakano. And is that Nagano? Sorry. Still a shockingly good game. I can still play this. Hard, but NBA Live 99. Basketball games always pretty good. And I think the last one here, yeah, Smash. Everyone knows the Legend of Captain Falcon started with this game. Obviously, S-Series games are pretty good, but yeah. So I think that's what about 30 games, 31 games there. And bear in mind, I have not bought a game since. So these are all from my youth. So as you can imagine, I love the N64. Anyway, swiftly moving on. I used to have about 20 GameCube games. I've lost them. But the GameCube is there, still plays very well. The two games I managed to keep are two incredibly expensive games, thank God. Mario Party: The Thousand Year Door. I think this game is now like well in the upper, well over £100 this game's worth now. I think it's getting like more expensive by like every month, but it's the best Paper Mario game by far. And actually, I think it's one of the best games on the GameCube, simply put. And the other game I've got, Pokemon XD, the follow-up to Pokemon Colosseum. I think this game's now worth 3 figures also. And this is also a very good game. This is Gen 3. It's a dual battle game, so some people hate it, some people love it. I love it. It holds up quite well. As you can see underneath there, the Wii U, and the light is on. So I plugged it in. I don't know what Nintendo was thinking with that one. Honestly, it was a mistake, but obviously they learnt with the Switch. I have got a Switch, by the way, but it's not plugged in this room. It's obviously it's portable, so multiple DSs I've had in the past. Obviously, a lot of DS games here. I've got to go through them because a lot of them are missing their cartridges. But I think, like Star Wars, Star Fox. We're not even going to mention this. This is a horrific game. Phantom Glass. Yeah, this is when I realised Paper Mario sucks these days. It's just not as funny. I think this is worth quite a bit of money now too. Bad game. Actually quite a good game. Yeah, pretty good. I think. All the Yu-Gi-Oh games, they hold up pretty well. Okay. So that is pretty much everything in the games room. And the majority of my PS2 games are actually in a different room. I ran out of space in here. I'm probably going to at one point dismantle this and try and get more space, because I can get so much more space out of this. Maybe put a couple more hanging things there, because that's where I sit. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, that's the games room. And there you go. That's my collection for the moment. Next week should be part 2 of the PS2 games in detail. Having about 1,176 of them, so it will take a while to go through them slowly, but I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, thank you for watching the first video, hopefully the first of many. I'm going to try and upload at least once a week, depending on work schedule. Well, it should be manageable, and just normal life, pretty much. Should be able to accomplish that anyway. Anyway, thank you for watching, have a good day, and have fun.